My wife cheated on me and says it's not her fault. Original post before discovery. The wife and I have been married for 3 beautiful years. Problem is, she doesn't enjoy my hobbies as much as I do. The wife used to happily join me on adventures, such as camping or fishing. Now she won't so much as go on a simple hike with me. We have a 7-year-old, and since the kiddo, these adventures have been a little tough to plan and follow through with, which I understand, but it can be hard on me. I like to get out at least once a week to clear the mind, but now that's been reduced to around once a month. She is upset every time I leave on a quick trip to the Rockies, etc., because I'm not helping enough with the kid. I've told her numerous times they should both come along, but she never agrees to this, as she no longer enjoys those type of things. Should I give up on the sights I love to see and adventures I can't help but indulge in? I do want to be there for my family, but I can't cut these things out of my life forever, but that's what she expects of me. Advice is greatly appreciated. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Life changes when you have a kid. How often does she get to get away from you and the kid to clear her head? If she's not choosing to get away, is it because she worries about how well the kid will be taken care of while she's gone? I love hiking and camping, but the idea of doing it with a toddler makes me shudder. There's no way to relax in the wilderness with a toddler. It's hard enough to do when you're at home with one. You're a father now, your life is going to change and you're going to have to learn how to cope. I'd also suggest becoming more involved in parenting, because based on this post, I'm assuming she's doing the brunt of it. Thanks for the reply. She has girls' weekends or nights out around once a week to every other week. She just doesn't like camping anymore, and she definitely doesn't like me camping either. She for sure does most of the hard work with our child, as I have a job and I greatly appreciate her for it. When she goes out with the ladies, I'm there for the kiddo, and if she needs a break, there I am. It's no problem, I just want to camp more is all. Again, thank you. Follow up with her friends to find out if she was really going out with them or seeing her coworker. Now for the first update after discovery. My wife cheated on me and says it's not her fault. This past weekend the kiddo and I went on a 2-day camping trip for some father-son bonding time. My wife doesn't like camping herself at all anymore and doesn't even appreciate our kid and I going. This is a big hobby for me and I want to share with my son. Usually we argue a lot about my trips, especially if I request to bring our child. But this time she was oddly cooperative about the whole thing, but still insisted she wouldn't join us. I was surprised, but didn't question anything because I was so excited that she was finally allowing us to go, and I didn't want her to change her mind. I thought we had finally found a common ground and the arguments were ending. I was wrong. We had a great trip and returned back on Monday. We expected to come home to an empty house, as my wife should have been at her office for a few more hours. I walked the kid up to his room as he was exhausted and ready for a nap. After that, I walked into our bedroom to find a naked man in my bed. I recognized him as my wife's co-worker, whom I have met numerous times at her work functions. At first I was in disbelief and even wondered if I was in the right house. Then my wife walked out of our bathroom, also naked, and I had no more doubts. She looked petrified when she saw me. I have never been so angry. I yelled at the dude to get out of my house so I could speak to my wife. He grabbed his clothes and left. Then we started arguing. I never yell at my wife, we always want to keep things civil for our son, but I was so hurt I was screaming. Then my wife decides to get defensive, saying it's not her fault because I am barely around and camp so much, even though I hardly go on trips anymore because she doesn't like it. She says, that's what drove me to do this, your neglect to this family. I was in tears at that point. I just don't understand how her cheating could be my fault. When I turned around to leave, my son was standing in the doorway and I felt terrible for yelling. I quickly consoled him, but my wife snapped at me again telling me to get my hands off him. Now she won't speak to me and says I can't see my child until I apologize. Apologize for what? She said we could go on this trip. She planned to cheat and that kills me. It makes me wonder if she has done this before. I'm stuck staying with my parents right now. I don't know what to do, I want to see my son. I'm worried I really scared my child, and of course I would apologize to him, just not my wife. But maybe it is my fault. Now for some advice before further updates. Don't leave the house. It is your property and child too. Don't let her claim you abandoned your son while she is the primary care for the kid. Thanks for the advice. I felt bad and pressured to leave, but you're right. I need to stand my ground. Heading back to the house this evening. Reassure your son he is the most important person in your life. Do not engage with wife. Separate your money now. Start a book on dates of your camping and check against phone records. Get a nanny cam to protect yourself while in the home. I will. Never thought of a camera, it's a great idea and I will pick one up. Thanks, brother. Honestly, lawyer up. Working on it. And most attorneys will tell you to continue staying in your house so you don't establish precedents of paying for two homes. There are certainly caveats to that, but ask your attorney about that right away. She's gaslighting you. This isn't your fault. And your son will be okay. Just have a normal talk with him about the rights and wrongs of reacting in situations where we are feeling angry and are sad. Tell him that even adults make mistakes sometimes. You got a couple aces up your sleeve. First is let her know over text message that you will be notifying HR at her employer tomorrow about her affair with her co-worker. This will get her to respond quickly to confirm in writing that she did in fact cheat on you. You'll need this for your lawyer. She'll likely threaten you, giving you more aces to work with. Do not have a single conversation without it being recorded. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Now is the time to play chess with your wife. Be smarter. Thank you. Planning things out. Definitely going to use your advice. Update. I'm back home now, decided it was best to get here as soon as possible. Things are quiet, but I'm relieved to be back in the same space as my son. Thank you all for the advice and kind words, it means so much. I'll keep you all updated if you'd like. Thank you all again for the support, I appreciate it. Sorry I can't reply to everyone as there's a lot of you, and things are tough right now. But thank you so much. In case of any confusion, I am Canadian. Now for the second update. For the past week, I have been working with a lawyer to initiate the process of divorce and gaining full custody of my son, with the exception of visitation for now until more is resolved. Things were awkward and tense for the first few days of me being back home, so my wife, using wife to keep things simple and identities private, decided to leave to stay with the guy I found naked with her. I'm disappointed at the example she's setting for our son, but this makes my decision to divorce even more concrete. I will continue to share as much as I can, if that's what people would like, but of course, court has its confidentialities that I must keep within boundaries of. I want to thank everyone for the continued support you all have shown me throughout this tough time in my life. I really do appreciate it. So she just dipped out on not only her marriage, but also her kid, for a coworker. Sheesh. I hope everything goes your way, man. You didn't deserve that, and it's not your fault that she decided to jump into bed with someone else. If she felt neglected in your marriage, she could have sat you down and had a conversation about it. Thank you. Make sure you don't take her back when she inevitably gets dumped by the affair partner and realizes she messed up. That's disgusting of her. Make sure you get full parental rights and use the fact that she left the home and your child against her in court. Also, when you start the divorce proceedings, inform her HR department about the affair. Will do, thank you. If your wife is out of a job, it would make it easier for you to claim full custody in court. On top of the fact that she doesn't have an official place of residence, is living with her co-worker, doesn't own the property. Check to see how much of the mortgage she's paid on the house. If you paid for most, if not all of the house, then the custody battle is looking to be in your favor. Sir, you need to know you're infinitely stronger than me. I would have put that man in the hospital if I caught them like that. Can't say I would have even tried to subdue the anger within when my attention was turned to the other participant. Whatever you do and wherever you go, I hope it goes your way. Trust me, I was angry enough, but I didn't want a criminal charge to make things worse. Thank you for the reply. Now for the third update. My now ex-wife revealed she is pregnant with a man she cheated with and no longer wants to see our child. This is another and most likely final update about my ex. See my past posts for more information if you'd like. I expected my last update to be the final post regarding my marriage, but this felt like a necessary thing to share. Last week I received several texts from my ex saying she was pregnant with an unknown man's child. Obviously meaning she cheated with multiple other people before the one I found out about. She said she plans to keep the baby and start a family with her co-worker. She also mentioned that she wouldn't be fighting me for custody of our son. I told her I would be willing to split the custody, or at least keep visitation rights for the sake of the kiddo, but she insisted she didn't care about that anymore. I am honestly in awe. I'm shocked she has given up on everything about the family we had, but I am most hurt for my son. At the end of the day, she isn't worth wasting any more of my energy on. I have been spending every moment I can with my kid, and will continue to do so. I'm starting to feel more like myself again, and I can't wait to get back into adventures in nature. I'd like to say a final thanks to everyone for the support and encouragement. I will always be grateful for that. Make sure you get a court-agreed commitment for her to pay for your son's upkeep. She can't just walk away and pretend he doesn't exist. If he can afford it, it's better that she signs her parental rights away, because she will come back sooner or later. The obligation for child support isn't something that can be signed away, even if the custodial parent agrees. Support is not owed to the custodial parent, but to the child. Whether she pays or not is a different matter. The only real way for her to escape the obligation is through someone else adopting the child, say, in the instance OP remarries and his new spouse wants to adopt. Wow, she deserves to never have her son speak to her again. She might as well disown the poor child. What a selfish excuse for a human. She can't even give a proper reason for cheating. Thank you for updating. I truly hope the best for you and your son, because at least you truly care for him. People like this are such scumbags. I don't get those that walk away from their kids. Make sure you get this in writing so she can't waltz back in, pick up where she left off, and confuse your son. You may also want to speak to a professional about how to broach this with your son. Last story. Girlfriend cheated, and now she wants me to forget it happened. Hello, I didn't know what else to do, so here I am. The last 3 years of my 6-year relationship have been hell. My current girlfriend and I have been together going on 6 years. About 3 years ago, she went to the bar with her friend. Note, I do not drink. While there, she cheated on me with a co-worker that she had invited specifically to the bar. They went to his place and rounded home. I later found out about a week later. She promised that we could work through it and that it was a one-time mistake. I should have known then that it was a lie, because not 2 months later, I found she was cheating on me again. Except this time, she had started a whole relationship with the guy. Her grandma had passed, and she told me she was going to Washington to bury her. Come to find out, she spent 4 days at the new guy's house, doing everything under the sun. She did this with a guy we both worked with. When she left his house to go to Idaho, not Washington, I found her old phone. I knew her password from the beginning of our relationship, entered it, and found everything I needed to see to know the truth. She had been talking to this guy for a month, and met up several times before staying with him. All the messages there was her telling him and her new friends how horrible I was. The thing she'd say was, I emotionally mistreat her, threaten her, etc. I have never done any of these things. I went through the phone, told her I found everything, and she tried to call me. For 3 days I ignored her calls, and then she showed up at our place. She promised on repeat that it didn't mean anything, and insisted she had been coerced in some way to being with him, and that the messages stating to another man she loved him meant nothing. She again attempted to apologize, telling me how I can trust her. And like an idiot, I took her back, and for 3 years I have been depressed every day. I even quit my high-salary job because I had to drive past this guy's house daily for 3 years. To my knowledge, she hadn't cheated since this. However, about a week and a half ago, she went to Michigan to visit family. While she was gone, one of her coworkers messaged me and told me she had been cheating on me with almost every man that worked at her place of employment. Of course, I confronted her with this information, and she denied it. It wasn't until I told her I didn't believe her that she stated she had been assaulted by her boss and that she had quit the day before she left, one of the many claimed to have been with her. She refused to talk about it further and states that I am being insensitive and don't believe her. The truth is, I don't know what to believe. I am at an emotional loss. Nothing seems quite right to me at the moment. I don't know what to think, and it just all seems too convenient that she told me nothing of this, then brings it up only when she is accused of cheating again. I have told her in the past that if I ever find out she cheated again, that she is no longer welcome in my life. What do I do? Who do I believe? She has been in Michigan so long that the marks the guy left have now faded, as she says, and there is no proof anything happened. On top of this, she is supposed to come back in a few days, and I don't know what's going to happen when she gets here. I don't know how I will handle her trying to act like I wasn't told anything about her cheating, just because this story that has zero credibility suddenly surfaced. Any advice is appreciated, thank you. Now for the top advice. She has demonstrated multiple times that she has zero respect for you and will continue her ways as long as she can. Leave her, sever all contacts. You don't need people like that in your life. She won't change. And even if you believe that she will change, are you really willing to live your whole life knowing that the person next to you might be cheating again and again? I feel the same way, but I don't know how to handle the situation of the supposed assault without looking like the bad guy. That's not the reason you're leaving her. You're leaving her because she lied to you and manipulated you multiple times. And even if what happened is true, she doesn't even trust nor value you enough to tell you about it. In any case, it's better to be considered the bad guy by a few people than to stay. If anyone asks or blames you, say that she lied and cheated on you too many times, and the recent events are not why you made the decision, because you really need to get her out of your life for your own sanity. You mentioned a long-lasting depression. She's definitely contributing there. Leave her, be free, try living for yourself. There's plenty of fish in the sea, and asking for one who doesn't cheat on you and respects you isn't unrealistic. The thing she'd say was I emotionally mistreat her, threaten her, etc. Sounds familiar. She is telling you the same thing about her boss that she told her affair partner about you. She will say anything and everything to get her way. I bet she would even put her boss in jail for assault if it was the way to get her way. I doubt that there has been any time in your relationship where she has not cheated. You just were unaware of it. For your own well-being, you should have split 3 years ago. Don't continue doing this to yourself. Hey, idiot. Leave her. She found herself a chump. For real, lol.